Sunday, 21st of March. We're still in lockdown, but we're going to head out today to the Avon Dam and check out a place for fishing, wild camping. Our guy's coming down in a few weeks, so we're going to do a little recce. Got a spinning rod with us to have a go, but it's more about just looking out the lay of the land.
Knows very little about this area of music. It sounds incredible to me. I mean, you're more cultured ear, Ellie. What's your assessment when you hear?
No, it sounds absolutely incredible to me.
Yeah.
Okay, we've arrived at the Avon Dam, or we've arrived at a car park for the Avon Dam. I haven't actually seen the water and I've no idea where it is. So we'll get out, take a wander, see what we can find. Okay, just got some directions from a local, so we know we're heading in the right way. And this is Dartmoor. First trip, first little adventure. So we can get some pictures of that water. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Just as we're walking up, we've got these beautiful deep pools all over the place. It looks like you can some small fish moving around, so I'm going to have a little wander down, see if we can get the GoPro in the water, film something. Finally, I have no idea how far that is. I just know it was a lot further than I was expecting. Well, from the car park to get up to the actual dam, it's probably about half an hour. And that's at good pace. If you were at normal walking pace, you might be looking at closer to an hour. Once you get up here, it's pretty much typical Dartmoor. There's not a great deal going on other than moor, and as always, as soon as you get up here the wind picks up. The plan was to do some fishing, but I want to walk the whole distance of the dam and look for possible places to camp and fish. So from now on, we're just going to trek along and take you along for the ride. Coming around to the halfway point now, and it's starting to become really clear straight away why so few people come here to fish and camp, or just come here generally. It is an absolute trek. I did wonder why there were so few videos on YouTube of people fishing for what is essentially free fishing for wild brown trout. I thought there'd be hundreds and hundreds of videos, and there's not. And this is why. If you look down at the ground now, any idea of a path disappeared probably about 300-400 yards ago, and it's just these massive mounds of grass that we've somehow got to get through. We've come past the halfway point and I'm still trying to find somewhere to jump across the river to get to the other side to start working my way back. So far, nowhere looks too appealing. Shit. Made it across. So we're on the eastern side now, past the halfway point on the dam, and still really looking for spots where you could practically camp. And if you look at the ground, it's pretty much just rock all the way along the water's edge. The water itself is pretty perfect, it's crystal clear and it's shallow quite far out. But camping's going to be a real issue. A real issue. Stand at the water's edge and try and get a picture, a couple of shots underwater, just to see what the clarity of the water looks like on the GoPro. About 3/4 of the way round now, the whole dam. And of all the places so far, this is definitely got the best sort of level ground for camping. You could get away with putting a tent here. There's an awful lot of rocks, but there's also an awful lot of sponge-like moss growing on everything, so it could actually be pretty comfortable night's sleep. The water is shallow, really far out, but still very fishable. I know it's ridiculously deep in the centre. I was reading yesterday, it's like 63 meters deep in the centre. But again, definitely fishable. So far so good. I'm wandering along this eastern bank, you see these groups of stones in circles everywhere. I don't know whether these would have been old settlements or pens for housing livestock, but they're everywhere. If anyone knows, drop it in the comments. Okay, so we bought a little spinning rod just to give it a go. Not really fishing today, just wanted to come and do a little recce, sort of case the water and see if it was going to be practical to camp and fish, which it's looking good. It's looking very good. I'm just going to try a little spinner on really light line. There's not a great deal of weed around, so we might have a chance. Just make a few casts and see how we get on. We fished for about half an hour and no bites, no takes, nothing, but it wasn't really about fishing today. Bought loads of different lures, but I haven't used any of them, just the one. The good thing is you don't get hit on snags, you don't get into any weed or anything, so you can quite happily cast all day. And to be honest, when you're here, I think it really matters if you actually catch anything or not. We're going to head back and do some more filming on the way. Okay, this has got to be this patch here has got to be probably the best little spot that we're looking at. All behind me, it's pretty much, well, it's not flat in any way, shape or form, but compared to what we've been walking on, this spongy sort of grass mixed with moss is actually, it's pretty doable, it's pretty comfortable. You're going to be sleeping on an angle, you're not going to be sleeping flat, but it's better than nothing. The water is just laid out in front of you like that. Perfect, absolutely perfect. As long as the weather holds, then I think this is the perfect spot. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be fun. So that was Avon Dam. Is it practical to be fishing and wild camping here? Legally, I'm pretty sure it is. Looks like it is on the wild camp map. And the rules of fishing are pretty straightforward. As long as you've got a rod license, you can fish here. It's only really practical, I think, to camp and fish on the eastern side. This is where we came in, down this trek and along there. So if we did the same thing again, we'd have to walk all those miles all the way up to the dam and then all the way around the dam to get where we got to today, which wasn't much fun. In fact, it wasn't any real fun traipsing through that amount of water with what I've got today, which is just essentially a day sack. And so with proper hiking tents, fishing equipment, no, not really. Wherever this path takes us back, we're going to trek back down roughly in the direction of where the car park was, and then at some point see if there's anywhere we can cross over the river, and that way when we come back in a few weeks we can just take this route straight up to the eastern side of the dam, which is a lot more practical to camp.